Hey there. I'm going to take a look at Port Brewing Company's Old Viscosity Imperial uh, Imperial Stout. Port does a couple of beers, and I'm not going to think of them now because, of course, that people are really excited about. I've always thought their beers are, they're good, I guess. They're drinkable. But I was excited when I saw this because viscosity sounds interesting. I want to know if it's very thick. So this is 10% by volume, and they served it in a 19.2 ounce can, which I'm a little surprised by. So it's a pint and three, or pint and 3 1/4 almost, but which I thought was really interesting. Most of the time, higher alcohol content beers are served in smaller volumes, but go big or go home. So on the side of this it says, laid back and hop forward, Port Brewing has been producing world-class beer since 2006. In a pinch, this beer could be substituted for your jalape's engine oil. While most haven't chugged used oil from the crankcase, it wouldn't be black as a starry night, nor sport a creamy tan head like Old Viscosity. Remember, oil changes every 3,000 miles, and drink viscosity is needed. Everyone wins. I have thoughts and feelings about oil changes every 3,000 miles, but we'll cover that in another video, I suppose. Anyway, I used this beer to cook an Irish beef stew tonight. So I guess it's not Irish because I'm not using Guinness. So this is a California beef stew that I'm making. But I usually use Guinness in it. And so I poured about half of this can. And so this is what's left. And it is not very heady, but they are correct that the head is tan when there is a head available. And it's very, very dark. Like no color is coming through this bad boy. Aroma-wise, it's gonna have to compete with this stew that I'm cooking, but lots of stoutiness, lots of that kind of acrid coffee, French roast coffee aroma to it. A little bit of an alcohol aroma, not terribly surprising at 10%. Yeah, that's about that. Cheers, let's drink. For 10% beer, this is incredibly smooth. At first I thought, oh, it's so soft and gentle. What a nice, gentle stout. And then it caught up with me. Once I took a breath, I got a lot more of the kind of coffeeness and the roastiness and the definitely dark maltiness that we all appreciate in stouts. And so this is very intense beer. Not surprising. I really appreciate the fact that they got all of the stout punch in a way that cleans up nicely in the aftertaste. I have some aftertaste and some like high palate swirling of coffee that finishes after the fact, but it's not bitter on my tongue or drawing on my tongue, which I appreciate. Sometimes the aftertaste of a stout is a little too much for me. And I find it unpleasant. It's acrid. To me, I'm not a big fan of French roast. And I like, well, anyway, we won't get into my coffee preferences. So, this is really smooth. It does have a nice thickness to it. And so the title Old Viscosity works well. Very delightful beer. As far as sorry, I have a cold and it's It's nasty. As far as an Imperial Stout goes, this is incredibly kind and soft and drinkable. But stands up to all of the requirements that that I have for a stout. And delightfully, even though it's a 10% beer, doesn't doesn't have an alcohol burn to it. I don't even necessarily want to say that I have an alcohol warming in my stomach, even. So this, like, 10% can just slip on by and surprise somebody, especially coming in this pint plus 3 can. So, if you're looking for a brick to the head, like, it is the size of a brick, and this is it. At the beginning, I was saying that I feel like a lot of the port brewing beers I've been, neutral on there. I'm like, yeah, sure, this is a, insert beer here, whatever, good enough to be in the style, but not something I've ever gone back to a second time. But if I ever come across Old Viscosity and I'm in a 10% beer mood, I will definitely keep it in mind, and I will certainly recommend it to others. Good beer. I would love to hear if you've had a chance to try it and what your thoughts were. This is out of San Marcos, California, but I'm not familiar with its distribution. I feel like it's available outside of California. It's certainly in the Bay Area, and I've seen it advertised as beers that are available at, is Port Pizza a thing? Anyway, at pizza places around here. Hopefully it's more widely available, and y'all can tell me if you've enjoyed it. So there you go. That's Port Brewing Company's Old Viscosity Imperial Stout, again in at 10%. So share with me if this is a beer you've had. I would love to hear, or go out and find it and try it. If you're big into stouts, I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.